Okay, year 11. This is the a slideshow that actually seemed to disappear somewhere in the ether this week. So well done for pointing out that it wasn't there. Aaron Furniture and break even. Well, what is break even? Break even is the point at which the business makes no profit and no loss. So it's a standstill position, but it's a very important position to know when you get there. If you don't think you're going to get to that position very quickly, don't bother setting up a business. If your week starts on a Monday, finishes on a Sunday, you really need to be breaking even by Wednesday. So Thursday, Friday, Saturday and Sunday are for profit. If you are running a business that doesn't break even till Saturday, and that just leaves Sunday to make a profit, that's a high risk business. So break even is quite an important figure to know, and it should be a figure that you know for each product you sell. So in a nutshell, it's the point at which revenue, total revenue, equals total cost. Calculating it, you've got two methods. You should know the chart method, which we'll look at quickly in a minute, or the formula method. The formula method is a good way to check your chart method if you've got to draw one in the exam. I doubt you'd have to do that though. Break even output, it's the quantities of sales required to break even, is the total fixed cost divided by the selling price minus the variable cost. So if we're selling data sticks and our business costs £10 to run a week, we're selling data sticks for £2 and buying them for £1. 10 divided by 2 minus 1 is 10. So we have to sell 10 data sticks to break even and make our profit. If we can do that on a Monday, then obviously in school we've got Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday and Friday to make a profit. The slide we were talking about a minute ago, if you recognise that, there's only a few lines to recognise. The horizontal axis is the number of sales, the vertical axis is pound notes, so that's costs and revenue. The blue line obviously is the revenue line, no sales, no revenue, bottom left hand corner. Fixed costs being the straight horizontal line, never change. As fixed costs stay the same within the short term anyway. The total cost line starts at the fixed cost line and goes up because of the variable cost element, and where the total cost crosses the total revenue line is the point of break even. Okay, so if you got asked the question on Friday, how will calculating break even help in making decisions about production for Aaron Furniture, you should be talking about sales, turnover and the point at which you break even with those products. It does help a business plan what levels of production it needs to achieve to be profitable. If those levels are too high, perhaps you might not benefit from selling that product and you might want to take it off the customer's sales. Break even will allow you to support applications for loans, finance, so borrowing requirements will be backed up by that. And it'll also help you make decisions about how you reduce costs and increase revenues. So break even has got lots of benefits and uses. It's also got limitations, so if you get a question on Friday asking you about the limitations of break even, they are quite clearly several. Break even forecast figures are not real figures, they are best guess, and they're only as good as your ability to guess. If it's a startup business and it's your first year, it really is a stab in the dark. If it's year on year, then you've got more information to make judgments on. So, but it is forecast figures are best guess. The figures only relate to one product line, so you might have to do a break even for each product you sell. And they also assume that all the products you make are sold, and that's not generally the case in business. You could have some stock left sitting on the shelf that's not sold, but the break even calculations presume it's all sold. Margin of safety, that could be a 2-mark question on the exam on Friday. Margin of safety is the amount of sales above the break-even point that the business is actually enjoying, or the amount of which sales could decrease before the business becomes, or that product line becomes unprofitable. So if you're selling 200 and you break even at 150, then your margin of safety is 200 minus 150 units of furniture, which is obviously 50 products, 50 sales. and that's the example that we just talked through. So another example there, if the break-even point for a product is 500 units and your expected sales are 700 units, then 700 minus 500 gives you a safety margin of 200. So the business can afford to sell 200 fewer units of furniture before it starts making a loss. So the greater the margin of safety, the safer you are. Thank you for pointing out the fact that that video wasn't on there. Enjoy.